Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Veeryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This whole section is how to put Maya, make Maya do a headstand. How to flip Maya and make use her own tricks against her. And it is actually a very ingenious section of the Bhagavad Gita, because keeping in view that there are a few things to note. Point number one, everybody has these dispositions. What are they? Hello? Yes. SRT, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And the disposition makes itself known through certain combinations which we saw in chapter 4, way back. 16 little bit we saw, this thing, chapter 14 also little bit we saw, but mostly in which chapter? 4th chapter. So the dispositions are as follows. There are 4 typologies of the disposition. Sattva, 80%. Then Rajas, 15. Could be. Tamas, 5. This is type 1. Okay? Not type A, that has a different meaning altogether. Type A personality means the person who cannot relax. We are not talking about that. This is the type 1 personality. And then type 2 will have what? R, Rajas predominant. Okay? Rajas, how much? 80% or 75% Rajas. Then after Rajas, Sattva, how much? No? You have to add to 100 after that. Tamas 5%. Okay. So 75, 20 and then 5. Type number 2. Type number 3 is again Rajas 75, Tamas 15 or something, 20, and then Sattva 5. This is type number 3. Type number 4, so sad. Tamas 80% or 75%. And then Rajas 10%. Because after Tamas you cannot have Sattva. You have to have Rajas, because there is a certain gradation and an evolution. So then after that what? Sattva. Sattva how much? Yeah, 5-10% at most. These are the 4 typologies. So fact number 1, there are these dispositions, and these are all the ways it can express itself in people. The percentages may differ, but this does not go away. It does not detract from the fact that we have SRT, typology number 1, RST, typology number 2, then RTS, type number 3, TRS, type number 4. Okay? So this doesn't detract from the fact that everybody is under the spell of these gunas to a greater or lesser extent. This is fact number 1. Fact number 2, this is all what? This is Maya Prasada. This is a Vikshepa Shakti of Maya. I am in the thrall of Maya because I have all these gunas in this proportion, etc., etc. So then Fact number 2, again another prasada of Maya. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Nobody is able to stay without doing any karma for even a single second. Fact number 2. Okay. Both facts are kind of depressing if we look at it objectively. So sad, I am under the spell of all the gunas. So sad, I can't sit still. And then what does Vedanta say? Don't be under the spell of gunas and sit still for chitta naishchalyam. Where am I to go? That's why these two facts are very depressing. Unless and until we do a judo move. What is a judo move? You use the person's strength against themselves. So the person comes rushing against you, you somehow catch their strength and use their own strength to flip them upside down. And they don't know suddenly what happened. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is telling us to do to Maya. This is how to come out of the spell of Atma Ajnanam and Maya by flipping these two facts against the very Maya that is keeping one under check. How? $1 million question. How to do this? This sounds very fascinating. But it is very, very easy. One is, I can't sit still without doing karma. True. Everybody can say that. But nobody can go inside my head and see the attitude with which I am doing the karma. If the fact that I cannot sit still without doing karma, if I use karma as a form of prayer and dedicate everything to Bhagavan, I have a certain one-upmanship already here. I am already, why? That means what? I am praying all the time. And not only praying all the time, I am growing all the time. How am I growing? Because when karma becomes an act of worship, how does it become an act of worship? When the attitude towards the work changes. I am not doing the work for the sake of results, but I am doing it as an act of prayer. When the attitude towards the work changes, then it becomes prayer. And then it leads to growth. And what is growth? Growth means freedom from R and D. R for Rajas? No. Raga? Dvesha. Not research and development. Okay? Raga and Dvesha. So freedom from Raga and Dvesha, strong preferences and prejudices choking the heart, they suddenly give way. And then, lo and behold, by these two things, I have flipped the script on Maya. I have started to do the work as prayer. I have surrendered to the Lord in the form of actions, my own actions, and a spirit of acceptance regarding those actions. Because I am not choosing, whatever is coming I am doing, and this is what this section is going to be telling us. And so whatever is coming I am doing to the best of my ability, and naturally it leads to growth. And what is this growth? Okay, emotional growth. But what is emotional growth? Maturity. What is maturity? Freedom from raga, dvesha. But what is it? In the language of the three gunas, it is growing more and more and more into a sattvic person. This is very, very interesting. So that which seemed ironclad, and I was in the bars of the jail, has, in the jail of each bar has a name, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, alternating bars of the jail. You can't imprison me. Why? Because I have flipped the script on this narrative that this is how it is and you are tamasic for life. Sorry, nobody is tamasic for life. Why? Because I have been given free will. There is a way to grow. And, as there is an English poem, what does it say? Stone walls do not a prison make, nor do the iron bars of a cage. In the 70s, there was a big strike that was done against cow slaughter in India. Lot of people went from Haridwar to Rishikesh. From Rishikesh to Haridwar, and from Haridwar they went to Delhi to protest against this in front of the Parliament building. Parliament building is not a, what is that, Dharana zone. You can't go and do your morcha there. So naturally, people found themselves clapped in jail. And many of them were sadhus in orange. The government does not see anything orange and, oh, this is a sadhu, etc. They don't have. You broke the law, you go to jail. And much to the perplexion of the government officials, first week about 10 sadhus were imprisoned. The next week, every Tuesday, they were doing this protest. They were all taking the train to Delhi and doing this protest. The next day, again, there were 25 people imprisoned. And the week after that, it was 150 people. Like this, it grew exponentially. Nobody knew what was happening until Pujya Swamiji solved this mystery. Because some sadhus came to Pujya Swamiji and said, Maharaj Ji, please come and protest. And Swamiji said, I'm not the protesting type. I don't do that. No, come. It's wonderful. You will be arrested. Why do I want to be arrested? Wonderful big room. Nobody bothers. You don't have to give darshan to anybody. And all the time you can study Gita. And if you stand in Bhiksha line, you get only one meal a day. Here they give breakfast, lunch and dinner. Plus there is blanket and bedding. Attached bathroom right there. So really there's nothing. We don't want to come out. And in fact they had to be, just all the jail officials had to beg them to leave the prison. You can't imprison a sadhu. Flip the script. Here also we are doing something very similar. Flipping the script. By following the script of not Maya, but the Shastra. The Shastric script, when we follow, there is redemption. And so, I want you to overlook this Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya business. That is not important. What is important is SRT, typology, RST, and then RTS, TRS. There are certain observations made about these typologies and the kind of work which, if they do, then how the kind of work that's going to redeem these typologies and then elevate them to a nicer guna, a little more, little more sattva. And if one is tamasic, a little more rajas. See, one is a tamasic person, you can't ask that person, please meditate. If you give them a mala and ask them to meditate, what will happen? Exactly. They will immediately go into nirvikalpa samadhi. So you can't do that. What must we do? We have to make them do some work. And what is the kind of work? For each kind of a typology, these are just recommendations for growing into more and more of a sattvic person. Because the sattvic person then gains the knowledge. That is how it is. To get out of the jail of this sattva, rajas, tamas, what to do? (41) Brahmana kshatriya visham Shudranam cha parantapa Karmani pravibhaktani Svabhava prabhavair gunaihi शमोदमस्तपः शौचम् क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यम् ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम् शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यम् युद्धे चाप्यपलायनम् दानम् ईश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम् कृषिगौरक्ष्य वाणिज्यम् वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजम् परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम् So the 41st verse just gives this overall picture. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham. Brahmana, SRT. Typology. Don't look at it as Jati Brahmana. Don't look at it as somebody who was born in a Brahmana family. That means nothing. Because Gunataha, the person could be Shudra. Shudra means what? TRS. So, if we are only looking at it from the standpoint of guna, we are not looking at it from the standpoint of birth. So even though the idea was to flip the script, and that is why this whole system might have come into being, it's very easy to see how it was oppressively used against everybody over time, because the people did not understand it. People in power did not understand the system, misused it badly, making it defunct. So then the first verse just introduces these four typologies of people according to the gunas, not karma. So, and it says that the Shastra gives some idea of what kind of karma they can do in order to elevate themselves into becoming more and more sattvika. What can they do? Okay. So then in discussing the first type of person, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, it's interesting. The karma is not given. What they should do, what they should not do is not given. It is just the attitude with which they do the karma generally, or with which attitude they should do the karma, that is what is discussed. I find this very interesting. It doesn't say what they should do. They can do whatever they want, but they should do it with these kinds of attitudes. What are they? Let us see. Shamaha, Damaha. Shama, Dama. Shama, Dama means restraint with regard to the internal sense organs, with regard to the organs of action. Resolving the mind so that one is not holding a grudge for 10 years. 10 years. I don't speak to this person. Why? I forgot. But there must have been a reason. So this is foolishness. So this way, Shamaha, Damaha means you just let go. Let go. What happens if you let go? You don't get low. Okay? Now that's what happens. It's fun. And so you just protect yourself from getting low by letting go. This Shamadama is letting go. Tapaha. Tapaha means a disciplined life. There is some way in which I approach life that has a certain discipline. Otherwise, one day I wake up just before lunch. And then another day I wake up just before dinner. And then obviously whole night I won't get sleep because I've slept at an odd time. And then I am a naktanchara, nocturnal being. And then again that causes problems the next day. That is an undisciplined life. A disciplined life, there is a certain internal rhythm of the body. And I listen to that rhythm. For everybody the rhythm is somewhat same and some specific things may be different. But there is a time the body naturally wakes up even without the alarm clock or somebody in the ashram ringing a bell. Where I sleep, there is an ashram next door. And at 3:45, 10 to 4, it goes some days. Long bell. And so, even without the bell, even without the alarm clock, the eye is naturally open. Because you don't wake up from your own volition. Although you can auto-suggest to yourself, I want to get up at 5 tomorrow and it will happen. Prarabdha wakes you up. Prarabdha puts you to sleep, really. Even in Vedanta class, Prarabdha it is that puts you to sleep. Swami Taranandaji, the one that is the last top Swamiji, he was so delightful, he was always making jokes. So then when asked, somebody asked him, why do you not wake up people sleeping in your class? He said, oh, it is his punya that is making him sleep. Who am I to spoil that? Why should I get papa by affecting his punya? Let them sleep. So this is so therefore this there is a rhythm. There is an internal rhythm of waking, of sleeping, of hunger, of thirst, of being active. And then there is a rhythm also of winding down. We just have to be slow down enough to be in touch with those rhythms. Otherwise what happens? We eat because the bell has gone. And then we sleep because we felt like it. This is not the way. We should get in touch with those, what are they called? Circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythm. Everybody has it. And so, this is called Shama, Dama and Tapaha. Tapas here, all kinds of religious disciplines, but then it could also be just certain kind of a values and attitudes in one's own life that one does not do ullanghanam, means transgression. Then it says kshantihi. Kshantihi, a sattvika person is accommodative. One is not quick to react. Oh, you didn't do this because of this. No, just find out why. Why did you do this? Or why did you not do this? Give a chance rather than just jump on them and say, what is this? How did you do this? So this accommodative. In fact, the more accommodative I am, the freer I am. If I accommodate you, that means I can enjoy you without expecting you to behave in a way that I expect you to behave or in a way that I want you to behave. If I don't have kshanti, then all these expectations are up in the forefront. And if I expect you to behave a certain way, if I expect a person to behave in a certain way, chances are that they will absolutely not behave in that way. And then what? Who is sad? I am sad. That person doesn't even know what they have done most of the time, because that's how they are. And so accommodative means giving the person, the other person, the freedom to be who they are, who they were, so that I am not burdened by living out their expectations or my expectations of them. I am not burdened by that. Just give them the freedom to be who they are, so that I don't become a beggar, begging and seeking validation from them. This is beautiful. So then, kshanti arjavam. Arjavam, truthfulness in deed, word and action. Yeah, action is deed. Yeah, word and deed align. Truthfulness. What I think I say, what I say I do. You don't have to say everything you think, thank God. But you do have to, whatever you say, you have to do. Whatever thoughts have come to the level of speech, that has to be done. Ahimsa, that is there. So here, tapaha, kshantihi, arjavam. And then this is the jnanam. Jnanam here is atmajnanam. Vijnanam, jnanam is atmajnanam. Vijnanam, when jnanam and vijnanam are together, we say knowledge that is assimilated, fully assimilated knowledge. Jnanam vijnana sahitam pravakshyami te yajñātva mokshase ashubhat. This is the first verse of the 9th chapter where jnanam and vijnanam are used together by Bhagavan for the first time. And then here he just says jnanam, vijnanam, astikyam. Astikyam means asti iti bhava, astikya buddhi. What asti? Asti means is. What asti? What asti? Veda. The Veda is a pramana for whom is called astika. In common parlance, in most vernacular languages, astika means one who believes in God. That's not what is the traditional meaning. Astika means the one who believes in, who has Shraddha and he looks to the Veda for guidance. Veda is the pramana for whom is called astika. So astikya buddhi, relying on the Veda, on the Shruti as a means of knowledge. These are all what? Svabhavajam karma. Brahma karma. Here no, karma is not given. The attitude with which all the karmas they do is given. These attitudes come naturally to a person who is sattva predominant. And sattva predominant person will have these attitudes. Why? Because sattva is predominant. So they will naturally be of a cheerful disposition. They will have their, their emotions under check. Raga dvesha is under check. And then what else? And they are generally intellectually honest with themselves and with others. And they are not, trying to abdicate responsibility, and they have a lot of patience and accommodation. So if Sattva Guna is predominant, these are the things we can look forward to more and more. And then when Rajoguna is predominant with Sattva coming in second, what happens? Then we see that there are certain other characteristics which are typical for that. Shauryam, valor, courage, valor. The Sattva people don't have a lot of courage. You run behind them, they will just collapse. Yeah. You ask them to do something, they will run away. Yeah, that is how it is. You put them in the middle of the battlefield, they start crying. And because they're not used to all this. And in fact, there is a story of Parashurama, I think it was. I always get the Puranic characters mixed up. That's why the names don't matter, just enjoy the story. So, there was the teacher had said he will teach only Brahmanas. And the Kshatriya came disguised as a Brahmana to study and learn. And he learnt many things under this Guru, archery and God knows what else. One day Guru had headache, and the Guru, and then the Shishya said, "What can I do?" "Oh, nothing. I think we just need to lie down." Shishya said, "Lie down on my lap." They sat under a tree. He cradled the Guru's lap with great devotion, put it on his lap. And then a horrible wasp came and stung him right here. And then he just had so much shaurya. This is shaurya. So much courage. It's a venomous, terrible wasp. And wasp sting is the worst, really. When the body can go into what is called anaphylactic shock because of the wasp venom. So this flying being bit him and caused the wound to start bleeding. He just took it in, breathed deep, and had so much stamina to bear the pain. Drops of blood fell on the face of the Guru, waking him up. And then the Guru said, "You have cheated me, you are not a Brahmana. You must be a Kshatriya, because no Brahmana would have tolerated this pain. The Brahmana would have gone running to his mummy. You are still sitting here without even a tear in the eye." So that is exactly this. This is what is called Shaurya. Great courage. No other person can have this kind of a courage. With Rajas in the forefront, Sattva as the second, get this kind of a forbearance and courage. And then Tejaha. Tejaha means there is a charisma. And there is a charisma, and then according to Ayurveda, when there is the Rajas is predominant, they have a certain kind of a what is that called? Commanding presence. It's not about how they look. It's a commanding presence. They could only be 4 feet 9 inches, but still they will have a commanding presence. That's what it is. There's a certain kind of a commanding presence. And then, so that is the Tejaha. Dhritihi, which we just talked about. Shaurya, Dhriti, similar. Valor and forbearance. Dakshyam. Daksha is the quick reflexes. They know how to get out of a pickle. So if you try to put them in a jam, they will escape. They know how to escape. They know all the escape routes. Guerrilla warfare comes to mind. So we have studied all this in the schools. How Shivaji, went and attacked the enemy. They chose the terrain so that it was rough. Only they knew the terrain through the forests and everything, and they could just constantly ambush the enemy. This is what is the Kshatra karma. This is the Rajas predominant, Sattva second, and Tamas last kind of a person. And then this is the Yuddhe cha api apalayanam. Palayanam means running away. Apalayanam, not running away. In fact, this is such a culture in India. It is highlighted too much in places like Rajasthan. In ancient Rajasthan, and even during the Mughal regime in Rajasthan, we are told that when the villager came wounded back to his village, the soldier came wounded, limping, crawling himself, crawling on all fours, gunshot wound, came crawling. The women of the village would come, including his own wife, would come and see where is the wound, gun wound or arrow wound. If it is in the front, he is allowed inside. Lovingly he is carried by all the women and the wound is tended. If it is in the back, he is left at the gate. Back means what? You were trying to run away. Otherwise, why would you be hit in the back? They carried it to a great extreme. This Kshatra karma, the Kshatriya value, it's just really, really amazing. And so this is what happens when Rajas is predominant and Sattva is the second guna. There is no leaving the situation. There is so much perseverance. You don't leave. You rather give up your life, but you don't leave the situation. You are told to fight, you stay there and fight. That is the kind of perseverance. Dhanam. And Adi Shankara, writing the commentary on this, he says, Dana dravyeshu mukta hastata. I like that expression a lot. Mukta hastata. Hasta, hand. Mukta, free hand. Dana dravyeshu means among all the things that are to be given away. So you don't look and say, okay, 50 things are there to give away. A person is here in front of me asking for something. Let me look for the smallest and the cheapest thing to give, and then take that out and slowly give after a lot of deliberation. That is not the Kshatriya dharma. Dharma of the Rajas predominant person with Sattva as the second. The person is proud to be a giver. Just with the chest held high, dips into whatever is to be given and showers the other person. We hear this in the stories. The king calls the person who did something and then showers them, cover him with gold. Like this in the stories they are there. That is the giving. And giving must always be like this, really. And Pujya Swamiji used to tell this. When Pujya Swamiji was 8-year-old, his father died, and then he inherited a small plot of land over which there was just coconut trees. And then there were some farmers and everything, they were employing some farm labor, and on Diwali day everybody had to be given gifts. And Pujya Swamiji's uncle was guiding him, because the farmers would also bring gifts in the form of their own crops, in the form of whatever grew on their small plots of land. And this man had no plot of land, and he had what? Only a roof garden. You can make a garden on the roof. And he grew pumpkins. 2 pumpkins came. He kept 1 pumpkin for his family and brought another pumpkin to Pujya Swamiji. And then Pujya Swamiji was 10 years old at this time. He was just giving whatever was given to everybody else. The uncle laid a hand on his shoulder and said, no, the giving must be in relation to what has been received. This man has given half of everything he has. We have to give half of all the grain and everything. Pujya Swamiji says, really? He says, yes, this is how it works. So, mukta hastata. And we saw earlier, Danam, how should it be given? We have to say Desha, we have to see Kala, we have to see Patra, who is the recipient, etc. So here, the Rajasic people have the Rajasic people followed by Sattva Guna have a very, very big heart. They are givers, and they are very proud of the fact that they are givers. Because of the emperors in the olden times, that's how we have universities. They are deemed universities by the emperors taking care. Nalanda, Takshashila, this is how they gained fame. It was all taken care of by the emperor's personal wealth. And they supported ashrams, they supported, pilgrim places, and they supported the upkeep of and the building of places for people to stay freely while going from one place to another. You need a place to stay. Here now you have to go in Google and book and all these things. You don't have to do anything like that. You just show up. It was such a stress-free pilgrimage. Thanks to all the people, these emperors. They used to dig wells, they used to line the street with trees. That is Dhanam. Ishvara Bhavaha. Ishvara Bhavaha means leadership. They step in and take charge, and nobody resents them. There are certain classes of people who step in and take charge, and everybody said, why was this person born? Everybody is thinking. But this is not like that. Here these people step in and take charge. Everybody says, okay, please tell me, what would you like me to do next? Naturally born leaders. Inbuilt leadership is there. Aishwarya Bhava. No, what is that called? Ishvara Bhava. Same thing. Aishwarya. Ishvara Bhava. Ishvara Bhavascha. This is Swabhavaja. This is whether it comes out or not. These qualities are latent in them. Here again, other than the soldier karma, not much karma is mentioned. Then the third type of people, which were described as Rajoguna Pradhana and Tamoguna secondary, and then Sattvaguna last. What happens here is that the Rajoguna is there. All these things we heard about, the Kshatraya Dharma is there. But since Tamas is there second, it kind of eclipses those gunas, and the feeling is, let all this leadership, let all this giving benefit who? Me. Not everybody else. Who else is there? It's all me. And so let it benefit me. But then these people, this typology is very, very good with accounting and taking care of certain things, etc. So the idea is they shine in this kind of a karma. Because they are naturally doing it for themselves. They like to save, they like to be economical, they like to keep very meticulous accounts, and so do this for the people, do this for everybody. That is the kind of things in which they excel. And so those karmas are listed here. What kind of karma? Krishi, farming, etc. Because again, farming is a big thing. Again, you have to think about what all goes into the farming, what all is there, etc. Because they are karma phala, they shine in areas where the karma phala is objectified and is up right there. So farming is like that. You get 2 crops a year. Very easy to say, okay, I'm going to work for 3 months and at the end of it there is going to be a bounty. Those kinds of works they are good at because they are result oriented. Krishi, Gauraksha. Gauraksha means raising cows, etc. Same thing here. And we say, okay, the cow is here, the cow is pregnant, cow is going to have a baby. Oh, now this cow is going to have a baby, now it is multiplying. They like to see things multiply. Then Vanijyam, selling, buying. Again, profit is there, profit is eminent. Trades people, all these things, they excel in those kinds of jobs. Not only do they excel in those kinds of jobs, doing what comes naturally to them, they can grow into guna brahmanas, they can grow into more and more sattvic people regardless of what they are doing. That is the idea. Then the final typology, which is tamoguna pradhana, rajas next. Tamoguna means what? Indolence, laziness, not wanting to do anything. Forget for other people. Even for me, I don't want to do anything. This is the thing. When tamas takes over, self-care goes out the window. No, I don't even want to get up out of bed. This is the feeling. And then after that rajas comes, then I get angry as a result. I'm short-tempered and all these things. And then so the sattva is the last one. So then to open the heart, what do I have to do? I have to do seva. I have to serve. So paricharyatmaka means seva. Doesn't mean I have to do it freely. Let me be paid. Doesn't matter. I accept a pay. I can do this as a living. But the seva is a good way of growing. Growing from someone who doesn't want to do anything at all. So you can't tell the people, you can't tell certain people, get up for yourself. I don't care. I don't want to get up. But here you say, this whole company is counting on you to come and make the tea or clean the premises. They cannot work unless you do all this. Oh, okay. All right. Reluctantly at first, for the sake of the money, because it is a job and because there is, what is that? There is not a desire to use one's skill sets. That desire is very low. And so slowly, in doing the seva, and in what kind of seva? This helping others, support system to others, support staff to others. Which means that, they don't have the pressure of making decisions, which they may not be capable of. At least in this particular rajas, tamas and sattva makeup. There is no pressure to be a leader. There is no pressure to do this, that or the other and take responsibility or be accountable. You just do what you have to do, and then one slowly grows into a rajas, tamas and then sattva person, and then you grow into a rajas, sattva, tamas person, then finally one grows into a sattva, rajas, tamas person. More and more balanced growth happens through the very karma. It is there designed to make one grow to more and more, to be in more and more sattvic, so that one can take to a life of knowledge. The entire Hindu dharma was to understand moksha. It was moksha focused. So everything, food, eating, drinking, culture, customs, work, everything was for moksha. Because it was a totally zero competition society. There was no competition. Because sattva, rajas, tamas, what you do is very different from somebody who is rajas, tamas, sattva or rajas, sattva, tamas. You are not in competition with them. And slowly, everybody becomes more sattvic, less and less competitive, and more tranquil and focused towards Atma Jnanam. That was the point and the idea. So then this is the and then further 45th verse. Sve sve karmanya bhiratah samsiddhim labhate narah swakarma niratas siddhim yatha vindati tachrinu yatah pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tamabhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. Sve sve karmani abhiratah. Abhiratah means engaged in happily. Happily or otherwise. So engaged in sve sve. Not sway. Okay? Yeah. Sve sve means in one's own. Swa means one. Swasya swasya. Sve sve. Sve sve karmani. Engrossed in their own karma. Samsiddhi means some siddhi or the other they get. Samsiddhim labhate naraha. Naraha, person, gains what? Siddhi. Siddhi means accomplishment, success. And we'll talk about that because the word siddhi comes 45th verse and 46th verse. The 46th verse is the most important verse in not only this chapter but the entire Bhagavad Gita. The whole Bhagavad Gita's vision is given in this verse. So we'll be spending a little time over it, and then after I finish the chapter, since you've already had summaries, I'll just give a few talks on some salient verses so that you can internalize the message of the Bhagavad Gita as one goes, so that we don't need to do chapter-wise summaries. Swamiji has done most of it, and so we will do it this way. We'll do some salient talks on the Bhagavad Gita. And this verse will also feature. So, but I'll talk about this verse a little bit now, and then at the end, 1 or 2 days we will spend with some general talks about the Bhagavad Gita, how to use it in the day-to-day life, how to let it talk to me, etc. So then, sve sve karmani abhiratah samsiddhim labhate narah. The person, we are just translating now. So, being engrossed and engaged in one's own karma, the person gains siddhi. Person becomes an accomplished person. Accomplished in what way we will see. Then swakarma niratas siddhim. So what kind of a siddhi one gets while being in one's karma? Tat shrinu. Please listen to this from me. I am going to tell you that. So first a little tippani, a note on the word siddhi. Siddhi has many meanings, and some meanings which we know is what brings us to ashrams and things like that, because siddhi means miracles. Something comes like this, and then there is whatever you want is there in the hand, and that is no doubt siddhi. And there are 8 of them. Anima siddhi. How to become tiny, the size of a mosquito you can become in 1 second. Garima siddhi, how to become huge. Hanumanji had all these things. We see this in the Ramayana. We see this in the Ramayana. Although he was still alive in the Mahabharata. Phew, I'm saved. And then, this, what is that? Telepathy. Telekinesis, reading somebody else's mind. What for, I don't know. Because if you look into your own mind, how boring is each thought. And then you look into somebody else's mind, it will be equally boring, if not more. Huge waste of time. But nonetheless, It's a siddhi for those who want. Mind reading, this, moving things from one place to another, then changing forms. Suddenly, we see this in the Puranic stories. Suddenly, one asura is chasing another asura, and the chased asura turns into an eagle and flies away. And in order to catch that asura, this asura turns into the dada, into the grandfather of that eagle, and goes behind that person, that asura, like this. Changing the forms from one body to another body. That's also a siddhi. So siddhi generally means like this: miracles and doing undreamed of things, the things which one is not at all capable of. Okay, but then in the common parlance, the word siddhi means success. Success of all kinds. I had interview siddhi. I went to an interview and then what? Did well, got the job. So that means what? Interview was, I have interview siddhi. Then even in the religious disciplines, we use the word siddhi to recognize a certain accomplishment. Tapas siddhi. I was able to do this upavasa, this fasting for a certain length of time. Tapas siddhi. Japas siddhi. I was able to do this meditation for 100,000 times. 1,00,000 times I did each syllable of this mantra. It's called Purashcharanam. So I have done Purashcharanam, and this many times I have done it. So this is what is called Japasiddhi, Japasiddhi. So like this, even in the religious things, we have all these siddhis. Common parlance also, we say siddhi. But generally, in common parlance, when we say the word success, what is the first thing that comes to mind when we think of a successful person? A successful person in our language, in our everyday language, is someone who has been able to fulfill most, if not all, of their raga dvesha. We see them having money, we see them having time, we see them having aishwarya, meaning leadership, and they are just strutting around, everybody is behind them, and they are commandeering all these people, and we see that kind of a thing. They are in comfort, they don't seem to be lacking anything. In other words, success, the one who has siddhi, is the one who has mastered the arthakama pursuits. That is what we call siddhi. Artha, so to speak, all the security type pursuits, at least commonly understood security type pursuits is what? I have a house. Oh, in fact, you have a house, big deal. This person has 10 houses in 10 countries. That is siddhi, according to how that's why we have a TV show in America. What is that called? Lifestyle of the rich and famous. Lifestyle of the rich and famous. And there will be some celebrities. And they will they are already rich. The TV channel gives them more money to show off their house, endless house, full of one room after another room after another room after another room. How many people are staying in it? 2. Okay, and so like this kind of a house they will show, and the backyard, you can't call it yard. It's acres and acres of land in the back. And then in the front also, so many other buildings. And in most people's houses, they have a guest corner or a guest room. Here they have a whole guest house just for guests. And like this, they will show all these things. And then so many people watch this show. Supposing the TV station started to air a show, Lifestyles of the Poor. Who will watch? Nobody will watch. This is what we think of as successful. Because in some corner of the heart, I would like to get there. I would like to be that way. How come I am not like this? And then so this is siddhi. Siddhi is the person who is siddha in the common parlance, in the everyday language, in the colloquial sense, is the person who has mastered the raga and mastered life and has commanded life according to his or her own raga dveshas. This is not the Bhagavad Gita's definition of Siddhi. The Bhagavad Gita's definition of Siddhi is not a miracle monger and not somebody who is stoking the flames of the raga dvesha all the time and by some dint of good fortune has been able to quote unquote make it in society, whatever that means. The Bhagavad Gita's definition of Siddhi is radically different from both of these. Bhagavad Gita's definition of Siddha, a person who has Siddhi, is the person who has not fulfilled the raga dveshas but mastered the raga dvesha. What is the extent to which you have been able to be the master of your strong preferences and strong repulsions, strong prejudices? That is what decides if you are a Siddha or not. Very ingenious definition. The extent to which you have mastered the raga dveshas makes you a successful person. Only in India that's why you say you are a sadhu, then there is respect. Because even though they may not see the sadhu as completely mastered the raga dveshas, but at least they are on that path. And that path itself is respected. There is no judgment on whether the sadhu has it or not, but the path itself is so respected. In Thailand also I see that there is a lot of respect for sadhus. And I was waiting I had gone to give some talks in, what is the capital? Bangkok. I had gone there, and on the way back to India, I was just waiting at the airport, and then somebody said, please sit in this area. So they just got me up. I had no idea why. So they took me to this other area, and then there was something written on the chairs, and I saw the translation for monks. Whole row, and nobody should talk, because the monks may want to sit quietly, and there were no shops in that area. It was very, very nice. It was a special waiting area for monks. Even in India we haven't seen, but that's just something beautiful. Very, very nice. So what is respected is not the person is a jnani or this or that, not even that. That one has chosen this very, very rare path of mastering the mind, of mastering the raga dveshas. That itself is respected. Even in India there is respect. When this pandemic was there, so I went for the, what is that called? Vaccine. So then they said that, they said you don't have to give your name. That you are wearing orange is enough. We'll just do this, and then all the other people had to fill out forms and do all kinds of things before when the first vaccine came. After that they also got a little bit relaxed about it. But that's how it is. Because this siddhi is much more difficult to gain than becoming lifestyle-wise rich and famous, and it's even more difficult to gain than the other siddhis of turning into a dog. Okay? Yeah, so this is why this siddhi is the most respected. Most respected. Because it is what is touted by the Shastra, the Upanishad, via the Bhagavad Gita. This siddhi is what comes in the Upanishad. So we'll translate the next one and we'll see it tonight. Very beautifully verse. Yataha yasmat karanat, because of which reason, pravrittihi, the origin, bhutanam, of the elements and the elementals, all the beings. Yena, by whom, by which Ishvara, idam sarvam tatam, all this is still being pervaded. It's not that the beings came out of Ishvara and Ishvara went away somewhere. No, by which the beings are still, the whole universe is pervaded. Yena sarvam idam, everything is being pervaded by whom? Whose presence is still here on this jagat. How to relate to this being who is everywhere and nowhere in particular? Swakarmana tam abhyarchya, do archana. What kind of archana? What kind of flowers shall I use? Do not use flowers. Don't use flowers? No. Every action that you do is a flower at the feet of the Lord. And for the action to be worthy of being a flower at the feet of Ishvara, Ishvari, they should fulfill certain criteria. We'll see what those are tonight. Every action given devoutedly, performed devoutedly, in my own station, in my own swadharma, whatever I am supposed to do, if I do it fully, ungrudgingly, it becomes a worship. That mastering this worship through my own karma is the best siddhi of all. And here siddhi has a pun, double meaning of the word siddhi is there. First meaning is the mastery of the mind, etc., which we talked about, preparation for this knowledge. Second siddhi is jnana prapti, jnana nishtha itself. Through this one gains the knowledge, because the mind is free, siddhi has come, ragattveshas bye-bye, and then one is at peace with oneself. And more about this we'll see, very beautiful verse. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari